Hi everyone, and welcome to the Knit California podcast. My name is Leslie. I am Knit California here on YouTube and also over on Instagram and TikTok. And in today's video, we're talking about my knitting plans for my October Ireland trip. So if you've been watching any of my past videos for like the last 6 months, maybe more, then you've probably heard me talk in almost every single episode about the trip that I'm going on in October to Ireland. And if you haven't watched any of my previous episodes, then now you know I'm going on a trip to Ireland in October, and I am very, 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 very excited. It is a knitting trip, so there's gonna be, I don't know, 30 or so knitters all congregating in Dublin, Ireland. And then there's a tour like planned for us. So we're going to be riding in a bus all around Ireland, visiting like tourist spots, places to visit in Ireland, as well as knitting related stops. So we're going to a couple of sheep farms, we're going to yarn stores, there will be classes and demonstrations. So this is like a true knitting trip in Ireland. The trip is being planned by Rachel. She's at Rachel is Knitting on YouTube and also on Instagram, and her mom, who is Mrs. Travel Adventure, who is a travel agent. So the two of them have been to Ireland before, and so they wanted to put together a knitting specific Ireland trip and invite a bunch of knitters and their non-knitting friends and companions to come along. So I'm so excited. I have been friends with Rachel strictly on Instagram for over a year now, and this will be the first time that I get to meet her in person, so yay! So, of course, I feel like I need to be wearing my knits every single day of this trip. And while I do have like a closet full of sweaters that I'm going to try to pack in my suitcase, I need to figure out how I'm gonna be able to pack all of this stuff in my suitcase because, you know, sweaters are like thick and bulky, so I'm probably gonna need to get some like vacuum seal bags to like compress everything so that everything will fit. But I have a closet full of knits, but of course I want to knit some new things now before I go. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. I have actually already started on a couple of knits that I'm definitely going to be taking with me. One of them is almost done. It has been blocked. I need to weave in 2 more ends that I didn't see, and I need to get buttons for it. But let's just start with this. This is my newest almost finished object, and I will be talking about it in way more detail in next week's podcast episode if you're interested in hearing more about it. Today I'm just going to talk to you about why I'm so excited to be bringing it to Ireland. But let me show you. Oh, this is a terrible way to like hold it up. This is my Kal Cardigan by Claire Jackson. She is at Perfectly Knotted on Instagram, and the yarn that I use for this is Explorer Knits and Fibers Carlsbad worsted base in the colorway Fresh Balsam. Let me see if I can put it on to give you a better idea of what this looks like. It doesn't really go with my my ranunculus that I'm wearing that's green, that I will probably be taking with me even though it's short sleeve, so I don't really know. I gotta figure out what the weather is gonna be like. But anyways, here we go. Here's my cardigan. Isn't it so perfect? I literally finished it 2 days ago, blocked it yesterday, it was dry this morning, so that's where we're at. One of my favorite details is the button band. This is actually brioche in the button band, which is really cool. But the reason why I love this so much is the yarn is like this really gorgeous blue-green colorway, and I feel like it'll be perfect to wear in Ireland. I'm trying to make like most of my knits like Ireland themed, whether it's a greenish colorway or you know, has like cables and stuff in it, so you'll see some more of that in some of my other knits that I'm planning to make also. So this is my first knit that I'm going to be taking to Ireland, and this one's already done, which, to be honest, this knit was not on my radar and like plan to knit this year at all, or to take to Ireland. But when I showed this to Rachel, she was like, oh my gosh, you have to bring that to Ireland. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I do have to bring this to Ireland. So it's coming with me to Ireland. Okay, let me show you the second piece that I have already started that I know that I'm going to be bringing to Ireland. So, dun da da da. Okay, it's getting really long now. But this is a Sophie Shawl. I figured a Sophie Shawl would be really great to have to wear on the plane ride, both there and back, and also just to bundle up in. I'm assuming I'm gonna need to get like a coat or something, and so like this would be really cute just to have on like under my coat everywhere we go on top of my knits. And the yarn that I'm using for this is really special because this is Hedgehog Fibers, which Hedgehog Fibers is located in Ireland. This is their fingering weight sock base in the colorway Taffy, and I actually got this yarn last year in a D-stash, and I was like, oh, I love that color, and I've never worked with Hedgehog Fibers before. I know they're a pretty big brand, so let me grab that and I'll figure out something to make with it eventually. And I was sitting, you know, on my bed looking at my yarn stash a few months ago, and I was like, wait a minute, I have a great idea. A shawl is going to be perfect, again, to bundle up in on the airplane, and I know I have this yarn from Hedgehog Fibers, and we are going to visit Hedgehog Fibers on the trip, so why don't I knit this shawl in this colorway and then wear it when we go to visit Hedgehog Fibers. It's just going to be so perfect. And, you know, this is pink and it is speckly, but I feel like it's like a relatively neutral pink, in that I think this is going to go with a lot of different colors that I'm planning on wearing and a lot of the sweaters that I'm planning on bringing. Pink is like almost a contrast color to green, you know, green and red are across the color wheel from each other. So I feel like it'll just work. I mean, look at it with my ranunculus that I'm wearing. I think it looks good. So I actually need to measure where I'm at with this right now, how much yarn I have left. I think I'm almost to the halfway point where I can start decreasing. I wanted to make this like really, really long so that I had like a lot of extra length to wrap around myself, and I have 3 skeins of fingering weight that I'm using. I'm holding it double, so I've already started with 2 of the skeins that I'm holding double, and then once I run out of those, I'll just pull from the inside and the outside of the last skein to finish this up. But it's turning out really nice, and so this is my second Ireland knit that I am currently working on. Alright, I have 2 more that I'm planning on knitting. I don't know, honestly, if I'm going to be able to finish both of them before I leave at this point because I haven't started them yet, but they are 2 sweaters. So the first one that I'm planning on knitting is the Dornie Sweater by Rebecca Clow. She's at the Creabea here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. I really loved this sweater because of the cables, and I felt like it would be absolutely perfect to knit for Ireland. And when I mentioned this on my Instagram, I had posted a while ago my plans when I bought this yarn. I have to see if I can find, because Rebecca commented on my story. Yeah, so she commented on my story at the time, and she said, "This would look so good in Ireland. I went in October and came back obsessed with cables and then knit this." So it's basically inspired by her trip to Ireland. And I thought that was so, like, awesome, and, like, knitting this pattern that was inspired by her trip to Ireland and then wearing it on my trip to Ireland, like, it's a no-brainer. Like, it has to be done. So this is the yarn that I am planning on using. This is Coast to Coast Yarn Co. in the colorway called Gothic House with Secrets. And I'm really excited about this because this is on her natural worsted base, which is a 100% non-superwash merino. And I've worked with a couple non-superwash yarns before, mostly the ones from Knitting for Olive. I really liked the Knitting for Olive merino, the fingering weight one, and the Knitting for Olive heavy merino, the worsted weight one, I have used twice this year. I don't know if I'm a fan of the worsted weight one. Like, it's kind of scratchy, it's not very soft, which I think is the reason why a lot of people who are sensitive to like more natural fibers, that scratchy feeling, tend to stay away from non-superwash yarns. But this yarn is very soft to the touch. It's very different from that Knitting for Olive heavy merino. So I'm excited to get this on my needles and just to work with it and see how it goes. But isn't this green colorway like perfect for Ireland and perfect for this Dornie sweater? It's definitely a tonal. I don't know if you can see the, like, there's almost some yellow in it and like lighter green and dark green. I think it's just gonna knit up really, really beautifully. So I have like 7 skeins of this because it's worsted weight and it's a cabled sweater. So I kind of, you know, I needed a lot, but I'm really excited about it. I'm definitely gonna have to alternate skeins. You can kind of see some of the differences in the skeins already, but I think this is gonna be really fun. So this is like my main one. Like, if I don't get both of these sweaters done, this one and the one I'll talk about next, I definitely want to get this one done because it's green. And I feel like I just need to be wearing green like the whole time. So this is number 1. Ugh. Oh my gosh, okay. Put that back over there. Sweater number 2 that is on my list is also a cabled sweater, and it's the Eclair Raglan by Laura Penrose of Penrose Knits. And the yarn that I am planning on using for this is this lovely pink Explorer Knits and Fibers in the colorway Oxide. So this is also a worsted weight, but this is a superwash yarn. And I have, let me see, I have 6 skeins of this, but I think this pink color, it's looking a little bit more red on camera, I think, than it is in real life. It's definitely like a muted oxide red pink. But I just think this is gonna look so beautiful in that cabled raglan. There are 2 versions of this sweater. One you can do with baubles and one without the baubles. I'm gonna do the one without the baubles. There's one photo that has already been up here, I think, this whole time. That is really my inspiration. Like, it was knit in this like pinky color without the baubles, and like that's really the vibe that I'm going for with this. And so I know this yarn isn't green, it is pink, but I just think that the cables on this sweater make it perfect for Ireland. And, you know, once I come back from Ireland, like, this is the color that I'm gonna want it to be. So that's my second plan. So today is August 13th. I'm already We're already like halfway through August and I've got 2 sweaters to knit in like a month and a half because I'm leaving for this trip in early October, like the first week of October. And I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get 2 cabled sweaters done in a month and a half. I guess today, I don't have anything going on today. I guess today I've got some swatching to do. Definitely with the green yarn for the Dornie Sweater. Maybe I'll cake up a skein of the pink yarn and swatch also for the Eclair Raglan. That'd be kind of fun to just do like a little swatching marathon today, especially because I just finished this cardigan, my Kal cardigan, and I do have, like last night I was working on the Sophie Shawl, really trying to get to the midpoint by the end of this weekend, so that I can start decreasing. I don't want that to like start taking up too much of my time, but I definitely want that to be done by the time we get to, you know, leaving for Ireland so that I can wear it on the airplane. But that's my thoughts. So I'm also considering doing a whole vlog series, maybe 1 or 2 videos on knitting these 2 sweaters, the Dornie and the Eclair Raglan. Just the knitting process, and how it's going, and you know, my continued thoughts as we're getting closer and closer to the trip. And then while we're in Ireland, I'm definitely going to be filming as much of the trip as I can, because number one, I'm so excited to be going on the trip, obviously, and I just want to have as much footage as possible to remember the trip by. And I think it'll be really fun also to share here on YouTube. I know it's something a little bit different. It's almost like, you know, a retreat type thing, but like we're traveling and it's in a different country. And so I just think, you know, people might be interested in seeing what it's all about. So that's my thoughts, that's my plans. I've never been to Ireland before. I don't think I mentioned that. I have traveled a good bit, it feels like, throughout Europe, but Ireland is one of the spots that I have not visited yet, so I'm just really excited about the whole thing. Plus, you know, there's a lot of yarn stores that we're going to be visiting. There's a lot of different types of yarns that you can get in Europe versus here in the US, so I'm really excited to do some yarn shopping while I'm over there. And just travel in general. It's been a while since I've traveled like this, definitely since before the pandemic, so I'm just really, really looking forward to it. But okay, now I'm kind of just rambling. This is a bit of a shorter video, but I just wanted to share with you all of my Ireland knitting plans, so there you go. If you have been to Ireland before, if you have visited any of the yarn shops in Ireland, maybe specifically in Dublin, so I'm flying into Dublin first a couple days before the tour starts, so I'm hoping to do an excursion one of the days before the tour starts to the Cliffs of Moher, since that's not included on the trip. And I mean, you know, I'm like a beach person, so I gotta go see the water and you know, these famous cliffs. But I'm gonna have a lot of time also, I think, to just, you know, pop into some yarn stores here and there in Dublin. So if you have any recommendations, I guess yarn stores, restaurants, sites to see in and around Dublin, let me know. I would love to hear your recommendations. And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you come back to watch the rest of my Ireland knitting content later this year. In October. I don't know if much will be put out before October. Maybe the vlog on knitting this sweater, these sweaters, part 1 at least, maybe part 2. I don't know, I haven't really figured it out. But yeah, if you're interested, stick around. Would love to have you. I'm getting close to 3,000 subscribers, so that's a fun milestone. And yeah, I hope you were able to get some knitting time in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see you on the next one. Bye!